ChatGPT has had some small but mighty updates this week. Apple should have had some big but ended up having tiny updates that don't matter this week. And Suno is crushing it when it comes to AI music. Today, we're going to be talking about all these things and more as it relates to AI for marketers. Welcome back to Bot Bros, a segment of the AI-driven marketer. I'm Dan Sanchez, and I'm joined by my brother, Travis Sanchez.
Excited to be here. Let's do it.
Where we talk about what is helpful for marketers in the landscape of AI. So let's dive into it. The first thing is ChatGPT has been making some waves with a bunch of small updates, nothing like ground shattering, but like it's been a bunch of really welcome little things that I think a lot of us have been asking for. And then some
Agreed.
things were like, oh, hello, didn't realize that we wanted this. Starting with the enhanced voice, like just a year ago, ChatGPT came out with advanced voice mode,
right,
where you can essentially have a conversation with it. And we were all like blown away because it just sounded so real. Nowadays, some other voice modes have come out and have sounded even better. But of course, ChatGPT gave it a refresh and it just sounds more human. It has all the little tiny human, inflections.
Yes.
That make it sound, more believable, I guess. How have you been experiencing the voice mode now?
You know what's funny is I didn't know that they were even releasing that update before it had updated by itself on my phone. I clicked the voice feature, started having a conversation, and I went, I was like, Kelly, my wife, listen to this. She could tell the difference. I immediately noticed because it has just that higher touch. One thing I did notice, though, was that it is way more concise when it's speaking. It used to have a little bit more run on and a little bit more interpersonal with how the length of the conversation was, but now they've shortened it. The quality of what it says is better, how it says is better, how what it says is better, but it's way more concise, unless you obviously are asking follow-up questions and getting it to speak more. I think you should put me on to sesame.com, which had the most natural sounding voice for AI that I've ever experienced. Well, I don't know if you've gone back to Sesame. They've done some updates.
Yeah, I did, but I haven't noticed it, if it's gotten better.
The most long-winded AI bot I have ever talked to. And I put AI and Sesame talking to each other. Sesame dominated about 85% of the conversation. And I usually pick a female voice, but Sesame's like when it's talking to you is the most flirtatious, oddly sensual, weird. You're like, why are you talking to me this way? I think ChatGPT has hit it on the head with this relatable, more human sounding. It's just not
going to seduce you into a relationship mode.
Yeah, it's just like Sesame. It's just like, oh gosh, you're always. It's like, what? Stop! What do you stop sounding like that? But that's the dangers of voice when it starts sounding more humanoid too. These are some of the places that I get taken on. What happens when it gets too good? It starts sounding more human than like AI. So, but I think ChatGPT has hit a perfect chord right now. I think they can improve, of course, but it's the best so far.
The reason why this is important for marketing, for all you marketers out there, by the way, is it's not. It's actually just helpful for your personal thing. But it will be helpful to marketers soon. And the reason why I'm particularly excited, because I can't wait for it to become like a mini third co-host, even of this show.
Right.
To where we can just be like, hey, ChatGPT, and just, what do you think about that? And then just have it like weigh in, especially now that it's fairly concise. The problem is right now, it won't take that cue of like, hey, only speak unless you're addressed, which kind of sounds like it's a little slave in the corner, but it's AI. It doesn't have feelings. Right now it'll just be interjecting all the time. And now I have to pull constantly. It out of my, some people are doing this in their podcast where they just pull out their phone and hold it up to the microphone. Find the audio to be a little bit too low for that. So I'll have to figure out some ways, but I'd really like to have it as a co-host in the show. That'll be more fun if we could assign a voice to it, but at least we can have a third co-host and it could be fun.
I have ideas for that. So let's talk after the show.
Yeah. So that's why I'm excited about it for marketing, just as for a podcasting thing, but even as just for a life thing. I have an example when we dive into everyday AI, this segment of this show, where I've been using it recently, and I just thought it was fun. So moving on to the next thing ChatGPT released, which was O3 Pro. Like, a lot of you haven't had the experience of using a pro level model. I will say it is by far like much more powerful than the top model that we have as plus users. And if you're a free user, bless your soul, you're stuck with 4.0, and the world has gone far above and advanced from the free model. If you're still using free ChatGPT, actually, if you're still using free ChatGPT, just start using Grok and you'll feel the difference. Like if you're ready to pay some money, move back over to ChatGPT. But if you can't afford anything, just use the Grok app. It's free and it's much more powerful. You'll get a sense of what plus users are experiencing already. But O3 Pro just came out, and I've tried O1 Pro. It was much better. And now I'm starting to find out the Pro models aren't just slightly better; they're like 5x better than the normal version. And people are starting to brag about O3. They're like, O3 we gave it a hard task and it did reasonably good. It was pretty buttoned up, but O3 Pro was like, oh, I feel like it was like a human that dug into the details and gave us personalized advice that I'm now going to take action on level strategy.
Wow.
The one issue with it is that you have to feed it a lot of context. If you were like, hey, make me a marketing plan and just give it some details, like 5 bullet points, it's not going to do that well. It's going to overthink. You can ask it, hi, I'm Dan. How are you doing? And it will think for 3 minutes about the answer because it overthinks before it gives, hi, I'm ChatGPT. How can I help you? Yeah, it'll overthink that. So it's not used for everything, but for things of like, hey, make me a marketing strategy. And then you feed it like all your Google Drive and all the past meetings from the last 6 months, then it's going to crush. It's going to have all that context to think about. So you have to upgrade to Pro, which means you have to pay $250 or something
to
access this.
Not happening yet.
Considering how hard it is to come up with these really complex things like marketing strategies or complex analysis, it's well worth it. I could just tell you from using O1 Pro that it was substantially better than just O1 was. So O3 Pro, substantially better. Especially you compare it with deep research. It's good. So if you are in the market for some heavy analysis, upgrade for just a month. You only have to upgrade for a month and you can downgrade anytime. It's worth it. The last thing they did, which was a big deal to me, is they made a bunch of other updates other than this, little upgrades to how projects works. You can now download your Canvas as PDFs. I'm like, okay, like that's fine. But the one that I was excited about was that they now allow you to pick which model you're using in custom GPTs. So custom GPTs are important because this is the playground for building all your own little mini applications, and where I tell everybody. In fact, I just met with like 30 plus listeners for the show. And the most common thing that I was recommending was to use custom GPTs. I'm like, you don't understand what it's like to build and have a little army of custom GPTs to speed up your daily, weekly, and monthly workflows. It changes the game. Some people had dabbled in it, but I'm like, no, go deep, build at least a dozen of these. Being able to, but you couldn't pick the model. It was all 4.0, which was okay. But now you can pick the model in it. You can even build it and share it with other people and recommend it starts with this model. I wish you could go back and forth with the model, like in the custom GPT itself, and specify like, hey, on this step, apply this model. On this step, do this model. But you can't do that. But you can assign a different model for your custom GPT if you're sharing it with others. They have to have access to it. But all plus users would have access to most of the models.
Wow.
So that's just exciting because this is like one of the essential tools in there that I'm excited for people to be able to actually like play with and do some really cool stuff with. I'm probably going to do a course on this now. I'm pretty sure that building a course on how to build custom GPTs is probably going to be something going to be launching soon. It won't be expensive. It'll be like, I don't know, $47 is kind of where I'm aiming for, but I don't know. That's probably what I'm going to do. Have you built a custom GPT yet?
I have not built a custom GPT yet.
You're on that edge.
There's probably a level of just not realizing the benefit like you're talking about. Because I told my brother here when he asked me offline, did you build a custom GPT? I said, no, because you built me one for the last organization I was a part of. and I didn't like its answers. I just liked going to the non-custom GPT when I was asking it things. So I had a bad taste in my mouth, but obviously things have evolved since, what was that, a year ago, a year and a half ago
Yeah,
when you
that was
first
before
created it?
4.0 even. So
Yeah. So
that was
we're
stupid
not,
4 turbo.
we're not even on the same spectrum. So I need to understand fully. So $47 is coming your way, Dan.
You get the family discount.
Oh, okay. Check it.
So build custom GPTs. If you haven't, just look it up on YouTube and start looking through videos. I will drop a link in the description. Again, to my custom GPT. Go to the AI fundamentals course first. This is a free course that I put out, and it covers pretty extensively, like how to get started with your first custom GPT. I'll probably have to update that soon because a lot's changed since I made that a year ago, but it's still pretty good. And then I have an advanced custom GPT video out there. We'll link both to the description. Like I said this in last week's video too, because this is the thing most people are missing. I'm like, you want to go to an automation, but you don't understand the jump to automation is actually massive. Like it's really hard to automate AI. Build a dozen custom GPTs first. This is the sandbox before you start building with blocks. Okay. If you can't do that, then you're not ready for the AI automation unless you're like highly technical. So just forewarning.
Got it.
But that ChatGPT, that was just our first news update. They've made a bunch of updates, and we're excited about ChatGPT here because that's what we use. Little side note, it's not even in my notes to cover this morning, but Grok is still hauling updates. Like I went and checked their Twitter feed, and they're like, "Oh, we updated this little thing. We updated this little thing." Grok is slowly shipping every week little things. They're catching up.
Yeah.
Claude had made some big updates, and they released 4, but still there's just not as many updates. Grok is just shipping all the time, which is just exciting to see. It's become kind of like my fallback. Is it your fallback?
Yeah. I mean, if I need a different type of answer, I'll go to Grok. I think I
Yeah.
pay for both. I pay for chat and I pay for Grok.
Yeah, I find that Grok is my number 2 fallback, even though Claude is amazing. So I don't know why I don't fall back to Claude more often, but I end up going to Grok. Weird. All right. And next in the news is Apple had their big event. What do you think about it?
It's been interesting to hear the perspectives of where Apple's leading us. Apple is trying to think of the future so that they can prepare. And to hear people talk about the new glass feature where you can kind of see through and make it more transparent. I've heard they're just trying to prepare us for wearables. They're trying to give you a screen view on wearables. We knew that anything announcing AI would be a disappointment because
it
there
didn't ship
wasn't.
on last year's promises.
Right. So I just listened to someone on the Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett, I think his name is.
Yeah.
And this lady was like, she's like, she manages $30 billion. She's like, I don't trust Apple anymore. She didn't say that. She was like, Apple is not necessarily a safe investment. They might be a safe investment and they might just stay the status quo, but they're not moving the needle forward like Grok with AI, like OpenAI with AI. And that's a huge miss. Tesla is disrupting with Grok. So when I heard about this Apple event and they did disappoint with their AI models, I'm like, other people, large hitters, are not impressed with Apple's forward thinking. And
It's like being late to being on the internet or being late to
100%.
the App Store or whatever. Like Apple led the way for quite a few things over the last 2 decades, but
and to be the largest,
leading,
highest valued technology company and to be missing the mark that hard, is wild.
And all the big tech companies were behind the ball. Amazon was behind the ball, even though they were using AI aggressively in their app. They didn't get the whole generative language learning model thing. So now, but Bezos has rolled up his sleeve and is personally jumping in and trying to catch up and making deals, working with Claude, trying to get it up there. So we haven't heard a lot from Amazon, but they're trying to catch up. Google was obviously a leader in it, but didn't really capitalize on it. So ChatGPT, like OpenAI, did, and is now the leader but Google obviously was still pushing pretty hard on AI to try to get it done.
Right.
But it's disappointing to see. Apple announced a few Apple Intelligence things at the event, but they were like small, little, tiny things that nobody really cared about, and pretty much just made it all about their new UI, which was pretty, but usually that would be enough to woo Apple users. But now we're all like, where are the AI features? How come Siri still sucks? Even we've been saying Siri sucks for 10 years now.
God, Siri.
I'm like,
Siri.
yeah, like you can only say something sucks for so long before things start to turn for you. So as an Apple user, this is sad. Apple published a report like a day ahead of the event. And I'm like, the timing of this is like really interesting. But they published a report of this research they had done saying that AI models don't actually reason. Essentially kind of slamming OpenAI, Claude, Grok, Google's reasoning models. They're like, it doesn't actually reason. We threw problems at it so hard that it would fall apart as soon as it had to actually think about things that it hadn't run into before. Not math, but like logical problems. And the whole the whole anti-AI community, we had that episode about the angry bomb who hates AI. Yeah, that whole community ran with it and they were like, see, AI sucks. And I'm like, why does it even matter if it can't technically, by definition, reason? It gets stuff done, it solves problems, and its businesses will still use it to replace humans in some places and do extra work, or humans will use it to enhance what their current work output is. So it doesn't really matter if it can't technically reason. It certainly feels like it's reasoning, and it's still arriving at the right solution. So
that is such a weird. The motive behind releasing that
before the event, when they were going to like downplay Apple Intelligence.
It's like they're hey, we are not the disappointment. All of the AI models that you trust in are the real disappointment.
Yeah, we're working on stuff that's real. This is all fake stuff. It's all pretending. I'm like, what the heck? Trying to throw shade at everybody else.
Wow.
Meanwhile, the most sophisticated thing they did announce was that they opened up Xcode, which is like the thing you have to use if you're going to develop iOS applications or applications for Mac at all. Like you can use ChatGPT's coding assistance within Xcode now to help you vibe code your code. I'm like, huh. So like they're leaning into it. ChatGPT is getting ingrained deeper into the Apple ecosystem because Apple Intelligence can't. They did actually open up Apple Intelligence, the pretty weak model they have on board the iPhone, so app developers can now tap into that and use it as part of their app. So I'm like, okay, it's a little something. That's all we got from them, really. So expect to see more AI just happening natively on your iPhone in small ways, but only small ways because the model can't handle anything more than small ways. It's probably even less sophisticated than 3.5 was for ChatGPT.
Wow.
Just to kind of give you an idea of where it's at. In other news, last news item is Suno AI, which is the AI music platform out there. There's a couple of them, but Suno is kind of the big one in my mind. It released 4.5 a few weeks ago, and it is freaking stunning. Like, it makes better music. You can now mix styles. So you're like, hey, I want country lo-fi. Give it to me.
Wow.
It'll do it. You can also have it split up all the tracks. Before you kind of got like one smash track together. Maybe you could remove like the voice from it. But now it'll give you each instrument on its own line in case you want to bring it into like an audio editing app and really play with it, manipulate it, and kind of calm some things down, edit little parts of it, maybe even spin in your own vocals into it. This is becoming like a real pro tool very quickly with the amount of updates they're making to it.
Wow.
Has AI music entered your playlist at all yet?
So I'm into like house music.
Yeah.
And I imagine a lot of that synth sounding stuff could be replicated using AI. And maybe some of the songs that I like have already been Suno creations, but so far I haven't made any note of it. I've also not been dabbling with Suno at all. So curious your thoughts as to how Suno could be a marketing tool. I've seen it as a parody where people are making funny songs about a certain event that took place. I saw someone do that this past week at an event I was at. That was like the first time I've seen someone other than you and I talking about new AI advancements. But I don't know. What are your thoughts?
For starters, AI music is starting to take a pretty healthy percentage of music that I listen to now. I've actually started
Really?
unsubscribing from some music apps because I could just make my own music now and just put it on as background music. I just make my own playlist now
No
of
way.
music that I like. Now for work, I just listen to like lyricless music. And
Yeah,
Suno
right.
is now good enough that I can kind of hit the genre that I like, which I like a really weird genre for work. I like listening to like John Hopkins, which is kind of like this artist who has this like I don't even know. It's like this really experimental. Most people would hate it, but if you want to Google it to hear what it sounds like, just Google John Hopkins. So that's kind of the style. But I can
Okay.
kind of recreate what he does and give it my own spin in Suno now, and just put it on playlists
Do you pay
and
for
listen to it.
Suno to get more
Yeah.
creates? Okay.
You can use it's a freemium, so you can use their older model and you can listen to anything else people have put on there and published. So you could technically just make a ton of songs and tracks, organize in playlists, unsubscribe from the paid thing, and then just listen to them all for free, and then you'd have free music. And then only upgrade for a month when you want to make some more, have some variety, unless you make playlists of other people's stuff, which is pretty good too. So that's on the music consumer side. As a marketer, this is like the best way to make background tracks. Like I don't know why any marketer would want to pay for Artlist anymore.
Really? Is that good?
Don't pay for Artlist. Don't pay for stock music sites. Just make your own. It's cheaper. It's faster because the amount of time it takes to find that freaking track on Artlist or any of the other stock music
Yeah, it takes
sites,
forever.
it takes a long freaking time. Now it is good enough on Suno that I can find my track faster on Suno, that I can make my music faster on Suno than I can looking for it. And that's just kind of one of those things where it's just harder to find music because you can only listen to one track at a time versus scanning through stock photos where you can clearly like scan through hundreds in a moment. But it's better. And if you pay for it, you have all the rights to it. You can even sell it. I do. I have an album up on Apple if you want to search for Sanchez on the Apple store, but it's Christian music, just
Are
full
you
running.
using are you using the Pro model or the version 4.1?
Pro is the pro model
4.5.
is the paid scheme or is the paid, I don't know, tier. So you go from free to pro. I think it's like $10, $15 a month or something like that. $8 a month. I don't know. It's somewhere around there. It's pretty low. I bought a Black Friday deal for an annual subscription last year. So if you want a deal, just wait for Black Friday. But I promise, like marketers, if you're listening to this, you're like, that's not helpful to me. Please, please, please spend just 30 minutes. Go to the free account. Tell it to make a song. Tell it to make a song about your grandma. I don't care. Just try it. Try it. You will not be disappointed. I promise every marketer that I've gotten into Suno to try it, they wrote it off as something silly. Wait until you try it. Everyone that I've had try
Really?
it is amazed. They're surprised. I've taken literal terms and conditions. Yeah, that legal copy from a website, put it in as lyrics. Said make it a country song, and it sounds unreasonably good. I'm talking about legal copy. It's even starts off with like address and numbers usually, and it's like still sounds unreasonably good.
Wow.
Try it. You can use it for your background music and videos. You can use it to come up with skits for a social, whether it's faceless and you just have the lyrics playing, or it's got a face in front of it. You're just acting out the scene. I've done all of these things and it makes for great content. And it's a whole new dynamic that marketers didn't have access to. Plus, like marketers have kind of been known to like use jingles and stuff. We've been doing that for like 100 years. You know, the first jingle was for Wheaties. First time music was applied to marketing back in like the 1920s. I can't even remember the tune. Nobody does because but you can look it up on YouTube. Wheaties was the first one. So marketers have been using music a long time, but now it's
Wow.
available in a way that you never would have expected before.
It's cool. I'll have to check it out. Make some songs. I tried it one time and it just was so like not a thing. I wrote it off.
We'll say for free you get 3.5 cents on the paid. It's really good. If you are amazed at what you get for free, it's 10 times better when you pay for it. Just pay for 1 month, try it, unsubscribe. just to learn, dabble.
Yep.
Stay up to date. It's worth checking out. Spend at least 30 minutes. Carve out 30 minutes just to experiment with it. See what's going on. You either like it and you're like, yeah, I'm going to make some stuff with this. Or you're like, okay, now I know what's going on. 30 minutes this week. You won't be disappointed, I promise.
Done.
All right. Moving on to the sponsored section of this show. Of course, we're pedaling high level. Why? because it's amazing and you need to use it. I've actually talked to a number of you now, and I'm like, sounds like you have a business model that should really leverage this. And they're like, it just, Dan, it seems a little bit expensive. I'm like, well, are you using Calendly? Yeah. Are you using email marketing? Yeah. How much are you paying MailChimp? Oh, a couple $100. I'm like, really? And you're paying for Calendly, and you're paying for a funnel software, and you're paying to host your website somewhere? You know, you can get that down to $100 with high level, right? Like I had this conversation multiple times. And with high level, you get multiple instances. Like if you have an agency, no brainer. Even if you're a freelancer and you have lots of clients and you're building them websites,
Wow.
or you're building like marketing automation, or you're building some kind of thing, for I think $100, you get 3 instances of it. So 3 different clients can be hosted on this thing, or 2 clients and yourself. And for $300 a month, you get unlimited, which means you can just keep signing up clients, and it gets cheaper and cheaper because, you know, it averages out across more and more clients. Like, I don't know what to tell people. Like, it's not as cheap as like something like Kit, which used to be ConvertKit when you're just starting out. But as soon as you start getting like a few thousand emails in there, or 1,000 emails, like the costs start to break down. And high level doesn't charge you anything for more users or more emails or more sends. I guess they do charge you a little bit on the consumables, but it's like bare rate minimum, like email sends, because they outsource that to someone else. But I'm telling you, give it a shot. Also, if you want to talk about it and you're like, hey, but does this work with my situation? Like, I'm willing to meet with you for 30 minutes to show you how I'm using it and talk about it a little bit more. Cause I know it's like, it's kind of a big thing and it's robust, which means there is a learning curve to it. Like, there's a lot to learn in there because there's a lot of tools in there. So find me on LinkedIn and send me a DM. Again, I'm at linkedin.com/in/digital marketing Dan. Connect with me. I say yes to pretty much everyone, unless you look like a creepy person. I connect with everybody, and shoot me a DM. Say, hey, I'd love to take you up on your offer to talk about high level. I'm unsure about it. I will take you up on it, and I will show you at least what I'm doing. And I will tell you the good, the bad. I'll even tell you the ugly. There are some things that are kind of wonky in there, but everyone's got some wonky, and I prefer high levels compared to everyone else's. Anyway, that's it for our
There you
sponsor.
go.
Thank you, High Level. Let's move into everyday AI and how we're using it to just make life better. Travis, you want to lead us?
I've been leading an event that I've enjoyed, but I'm like, you know what? I think it's time to pass the baton. I need to make an SOP. So I literally use the voice chat feature of AI to walk through every single step. One, because I'm a verbal processor, and just started asking it to have follow-up questions for things that I left out. And sure enough, it made an incredible SOP with every step, timing, time frame, what's needed, what needs to be remembered, both from a admin side to a relational side, from a leadership perspective. And that was one of my everyday AI tool. It just was so not. I mean, I literally did it driving home from work. I made the
Nice.
SOP, so I was multitasking and working. I loved it.
Yeah, I've been using it in the car more myself. I find that the road noise can interrupt it a little bit, but
Yeah, I have to
it
mute
can
it
still work.
sometimes.
What's your second one?
We have an Airbnb, and I'm realizing as I've been self-managing and leaving reviews for people, I don't know what to say about them. I've interacted with them barely over some text messages. They come to the house, they stay, they leave. Airbnb wants to have very specific, so I just had chat come up with a few different generic reviews that I could leave for these people. High ratings. I left the house clean. Everything's great. Wouldn't complain. Leave them 5 stars. But you have to write something. So I just asked chat to write me general review. That was helpful. I mean,
Easy.
I could have written it, but I'm just like, I just know chat will follow my instructions perfectly and give me what I need. A little prompt.
Kind of knocks out that monotonous task where you have to think. You're like, hey, ChatGPT, leave me another review. Mix it up this time.
Uh-huh.
Done. This week I used not ChatGPT. Actually, I did use ChatGPT, but I made a LinkedIn carousel, but I made it really fast. The idea came into my head to make this piece of content, but usually I would never do this because it takes too long to make a carousel. But with the combination of ChatGPT and Gamma is that design tool that's getting really good now. I actually started paying for Gamma. I was like, oh my gosh, this is worth paying
Wow.
for. It one-shotted it and had it pretty much done. I probably deleted one slide from it and made just a few edits, but it was like 95% done. Because again, ChatGPT, I made a little. I started off by asking ChatGPT a joke question. I was like, ChatGPT, based on what you know about me, what Disney princess am I? Come on. Yes, I am making you do this right now. I like joked with it. And it's like, oh, Dan, you're such an experimenter. Okay, let's roll up the sleeves and let's look at the princesses and see which one you fit. And naturally, it told me I was Belle because she's a nerd. I'm a nerd. I read a lot. She reads a lot. And I was
That's
like,
funny.
good answer. But it got me to thinking. I was like, what else could we possibly be asking this to give us insights into ourselves beyond stupid Disney princess quizzes? And so I talked to it and I was like, ChatGPT, what other questions could people be asking you based on the fact that you know so much about them as based on all these conversations? So it gave me a list of questions and I narrowed it down. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these are really good. Huh. Can you turn this into a carousel deck? It turned it into a carousel deck. Great. Can you write the post that fits this carousel deck? Wrote the post that fits the carousel deck. I took the carousel copy, threw it into Gamma, said, make this a carousel, stick to exactly what's written here. Bam. Chose all the images, the design, and the images
Wow.
fit the design. Like the design had this like gradient, purple, blue, pink look, and all the images had that same style applied
Wow.
to it. I'm like, I don't know how it like somehow is programmed to like generate all the images and it all matched. It looked fantastic. I'll link to it in the description to this LinkedIn carousel. One, the questions are fun. They're revealing questions, but the carousel was really easy. And I deleted a slide, made a few edits, downloaded it, posted to LinkedIn, and this whole carousel was done in 20 minutes, which is insane for a carousel because carousels are hard.
Wow.
So that was one way I used it this week. And then I had on a more personal side, I got bored of listening to podcasts. Last Friday, I was painting my guest room based on ChatGPT's paint color recommendation. I was painting and I was bored. So I was like, I just turned on ChatGPT's advanced voice mode in my AirPods while I was painting. I was like, hey, ChatGPT, I'm tired of listening to podcasts and would like to have a conversation. Let's talk about something educational. I would like to learn more about the Roman Empire because I'm a man and I think about the Roman Empire. So we had a fun little conversation about the Roman Empire. And I'm like, let's start from the beginning. Romulus, what do you know about him? And we worked through Romulus, who's the founder of the Roman Empire, and his backstory and what we know and what we don't know, and the myth, the legend. And it's more legend than fact. But what facts do we know? How do we know? You like, I went into all the different things and I just started covering different parts of it. And that's probably spent 45 minutes learning from ChatGPT. That was before they updated the advanced voice mode. And part of me is like, I don't know if that would work as well now because now it's shorter. And I usually talk to Ember. It's like a man's voice, kind of a light and energetic voice. But he sounds, when I ask him questions like this now, he sounds a little like bored with my answers. like he's been hanging out with the Monday voice. Have you talked to Monday? Oh man. Yeah, check out Mondays. It's a voice they dropped, but it's like, I don't know how to describe this voice, but it's like too cool for school and is always like, "Oh, okay. I guess we'll talk about that if we really have to go there." Like
Oh
have you
my
seen
gosh.
it's like Ennui. It's that character from Inside Out, if you've seen the
Oh,
second one.
yeah. Well, I have seen the second one. I'm trying to think.
It's the purple character that's like always like,
That's
"Oh, okay." And
oh
it's
yeah,
sarcastic and all that kind of stuff. It's
just
Ennui.
annoyed.
Yeah. So if you go to Monday, that's what that voice is. It's specifically got personality and it's too cool for school.
Yikes.
Moving on to our next segment, we have a poll that I ran on LinkedIn and I asked the audience, how often do you use deep research tools for AI? I was curious. Like it's a major tool set and I was wondering how often people actually use it. And this was the breakdown for daily, weekly, monthly. I've tried it before and never. And 21% are using it daily, which was higher than I thought. 41% are using it weekly. That's kind of where I fall. I'm kind of like using it every week or so. 13% said Monday. 11% said I've never tried it before, and 14% said never. Where do you fall on deep research?
I've tried it before.
But you don't use it. You've
No,
tried it before. You've used it a
yeah.
few times.
I don't think I have the personality set that makes me want to have the kind of information that it spits out. I mean, it is just so much information. So I'd probably, if you had a yearly category on here, that'd probably be maybe quarterly. I just haven't found it for my current role or focuses that I've needed it. So Yeah. I just,
You got to want to go deep. You got to have to know what you want it, why you want it,
yes,
really is the hard
exactly.
part. And I almost think like people need to be shown like more use cases of how to get the most out of it. Cause right now it feels like you got a Ferrari in the garage. You're like, I don't even know where to take this thing. Where should I take it?
Right.
Generally, I like to use it for audience research, but I also like to
Ferrari,
use it a lot.
not a
Huh?
Ferrari. It's more like an F1. I would easily take a Ferrari out. It's like an F1. I'm like, what the heck? How do you even plug the steering wheel on here or get in? Yeah.
That's right. The steering wheels come off of those things, huh?
Yeah, and bro, have you seen an F1 steering wheel?
Not really,
There
but
are
I have
more
seen them take it off and on.
controls on that steering wheel. Do you know they can control how much power is in the front and the back instantly? Like there's
No,
dials that they are turning up or down to put more power in the back or the front depending on which turn, and they're constantly adjusting it. That's why people don't realize how mentally challenging it is to be an F1 driver. It's not just gas and steering.
it's like a complex video game, except it's not a video game.
Yes. Yeah, it's your life going 245 miles an hour. So yeah, that's how I feel about deep research. I'm like, uh so where do I
How
how
do you make the wheel spin?
uh-huh.
What button is that? Yeah. It's an incredible tool. I use it all the time to like give it fodder for then a reasoning model to go and give me answers. So when I want to dive deep into a topic, I'm like, hey, go do a deep research report into that. Okay, now based on this deep research report, what should I be doing? For example, I was like, if I'm forming a business, be like, well, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Based on my model, go and do a deep research report of all the different business models and think it over. Because you got to think, if you pair it with the reasoning model, it can think through all the different stuff as it's gathering all the research and think and
Right.
think and think and then give
Right.
you really good answers. So if you have a pretty serious decision coming up, you should be using deep research to kind of find more information for you and analyze it and then come back with thoughts and concerns and considerations you should be making. So well, I'll probably need to do a whole episode just on deep research and how to dive into it. So that's coming because I've needed to do it and I haven't done it yet because it's a major tool that I think we could be all using better. So that was the poll. Lots of people using it. I was impressed. The audience is more after, especially after meeting a bunch of you. Like you guys are more savvy or very savvy compared to the average user that I'll meet at like live events. So that's cool.
Let's be honest, Dan. I'm more of the average user.
That's okay. You're still using it. All right, and to finish off with the fun one, the viral post of the week. This actually came out a few weeks ago, but I didn't have time to cover it in past episodes. Was this video that was created purely from Google's VO3 video creation tool, and it was like a fake pharmaceutical ad for a fake medicine called Pupperfen. Where if you haven't seen the video, it's adorable, it's cute. It's essentially like people are sad, so they prescribe Pupperfen, and it gives them an antibody of some kind or some kind of pheromone that attracts puppies. So everybody has puppies in their lives and makes them happy. And the video looks super convincing. Like
I
it
know.
looks
Good B-roll.
real. Like I think if
Headshots are
we were all
good.
discerning and we're pretty familiar with AI video, you would be able to tell. But it was so convincing that I'm like, you could use this to make a legitimate commercial because pharmaceutical commercials are pretty straightforward. That you could save $100,000 and spend $250 on VO3 and actually put this
Yep.
together. It was pretty good. And the video is hilarious though. They sneak in some jokes and some things in there, even though it looks and sounds like a pharmaceutical commercial. I'll link to it in the description. Watch it sometime. It'll kind of give you an idea of like, wow, like we could actually be using this to make videos. I will say I've talked to some video editing friends that are like, man, I'm trying to get this to work, but it's like really squirrely and hard. So just because it can make it doesn't make it means it's easy to use or that it won't take you a freaking amazing amount of time just to put together one 60-second video. It will. It's hard. It's squirrely. You will have to generate multiple things. It will take you a week or two in order to generate a 60-second video. But compared to the $100,000 it used to take to make some of these things,
Which is wild.
you're like, well, the Wall Street Journal also put together a great like tutorial. They knocked out a fake video of like day in the life of living with a robot or something like that.
Oh, really?
And it was pretty good, but like they went through the process of how they made it. You're like, oh my gosh, that is so complicated in order to do it. And they used a mix of tools, VO3, like Runway, and a few other ones, Midjourney, to try to get the characters to be consistent. You watch the
That's
video, you're
so
like,
hard.
still looks like AI, but it's definitely coming faster, especially with the audio now in there. You're like, okay,
Right.
like this is coming along.
Right.
I still don't feel like it's there yet, but it's certainly making strides.
We are far. I mean, we're only halfway into 2025, and we're beyond where I thought we'd be by this point. Like that Pupperfin video is much better than I thought we'd be by the end of the year. So who knows what's going to happen by the beginning of 2026?
And a lot of it is just the cost of how much it takes to run
The
the
energy,
servers to
yeah.
power these things.
Yeah.
But the cost is dropping dramatically. Like they just released O3 for
Really?
ChatGPT just a month or so ago.
Yeah.
When did that come out? I think it came out in April. So O3 came out in April, right? And it was like $80 to run on the API for a million tokens or something like that. It's $80 to run this tool for that many tokens. They cut it by like a factor of like 5 or 10 or something like that in price this last week, and they put the pro model at that level. I'm like, it didn't even take a year for it to drop in cost dramatically. You're like, what the heck? This is amazing. Like the costs are dropping faster than even expected, and a 10x drop a year is a massive drop. But it's even within a few months they dropped the cost by 5x on one of their most advanced models. And put the new king on top of the $80 per million tokens thing. So it just goes to show you that things are going very, very fast. And that's all we have today for the Bot Bros, the segment of the AI Driven Marketer. If you got some value out of this, please go and leave a review, leave a star rating in Spotify, Apple, or give us a thumbs up on YouTube. It helps the show out immensely. And stay tuned for our next episode coming next week.